7:30 a.m. I just got done with my cardio, and we did 30 minutes on the treadmill. Woke up at 5:20 as usual, and oh god, dude, this morning was definitely rough and definitely tougher than most mornings. 5:20 a.m. is starting to come like that. Those 50 push-ups, they come like that. But this cold shower, dude. And it's crazy because the cold shower is what I've been the most consistent with my whole life. Like, I've did cold showers for forever. And what I'm noticing is that, especially because now with my cold showers, I don't get in warm. And that is the thing too, is that's been the switch up, is that I've been so used to doing a warm shower. Not even for a long time, but just I start off with it being warm, then I switch it to cold, and I stopped doing that, right? Like, gotta get better, gotta change. If you want something to change, you gotta change. So I'm constantly changing things, just the little things. It's the little things. People think they gotta change these huge aspects of the life. It's a little thing, right? Like one of my clients for fitness yesterday, he sent me his, because I keep my guys accountable. They got to send me, what they ate, Like, I make sure that they are going to get transformed and fueling themselves with the best fuel possible. They come to me fueling themselves with gas like they're a Honda Civic. I make them feel like a Ferrari so we can put Ferrari gas in it. And, he was like he was like 15 grams under his not his calorie goal, but his protein goal. And right where his like minimum goal is, like, I'm wanting him to get higher than that typically. And I was like, dude, you could have literally just switched out this one thing. Like, he had an Uncrustable. The kid's young, he's still in school, so you know what I mean. And outside of that, he does the best he can. The kid definitely does the best he can. But I'm like, dude, just replacing that with a protein bar could have got you to that protein goal and kept you at the same amount of calories. And that's the thing, is that's just a very small example. But constantly just adding 1%, that's such a common saying, like, oh, get 1% better every day. But people take that to the extreme. They go to the extremes and they change so many different aspects and start doing this crazy routine, and then they can't stick with it. Well, no wonder you can't stick with it, because you put more on yourself than you can handle at that moment. Again, I didn't start waking up at 5:20 every single morning, doing 50 push-ups, reading the Word, reading a business book, drinking black coffee, drinking 32 ounces of water every single morning, right? I do now, but it didn't start off that way. It started off with waking up at 6 o'clock. And then it moved to 5:30. Then it moved to 5:20. And I'm going to go back and back and back. And it started off with just reading one chapter of the Word. Now it's 2 chapters. And then it used to not even read a chapter of a business book. Now I'll read a chapter of a bit. And so on and so forth, right? The black coffee, the water, all this stuff started added on time after time. But I got consistent with what I was doing. And then I added on. And then I got 1% better. And that's what you have to do, is you got to continually just add the little increments to your life. And you do that, especially starting from a young age, and you continually do that day after day after day. It's going to start to build up, and you're going to start realizing that, dude, now I'm doing more by 7:30, 7 o'clock than most people get done in a day. Like, and that's not on some egotistical shit either. Like, that's real, bro. Like, that's real. But this has been my biggest issue. Here's where shit hits the fan. This has been my biggest issue recently, is holding myself accountable to for me specifically, it's my 5 actionable tasks. Like, I have my morning routine, and then I have actionable tasks that I have listed throughout the day that need to get done, and that keeps me productive, right? So that I'm not scrolling on the phone or watching TV. Those are things I don't do anymore. Now, scroll on the phone, like, I still happen to do that, here and there. Very, very subtly, I catch myself pretty quickly. After I've been on there for, like, your brain becomes way more conscious of that stuff. When you scroll all the time, it is just normal for you to do that, and you never catch yourself, and that's why you find yourselves in just that like hours and hours and hours of scrolling. But the phone doesn't ever go into bed with me. I don't watch TV anymore. And when you start, that did not all happen at once. It was 1%, I added things on. So now my brain is more cognitive to being productive. So when I'm not being productive, it stresses me out. And so now my cortisol levels, I don't know why I can't think of if it goes up or down when you get stressed out. But whichever way, they increase, they decrease, it stresses me out. So now I relate scrolling with stress. And so, you know what I mean? I'm quickly able to get myself off of that. But again, it doesn't mean it's still not a struggle, because I get where I'm like, oh, I need to do some productive scrolling, where it's like, oh, fine. For me, it's like sounds for edits and stuff like that. But regardless, excuse me. This is my 32 ounces of lemon water and salt. Typically, this is all finished by the time I leave and do cardio. But this morning, man, I told myself, doing the cardio in the mornings, like, I'm going to do it 4 or 5 times a week. But boy, is it difficult. It's so difficult to only do it 4 or 5 times a week, bro. Like when you, for instance, like when I used to wake up early when I was in sales, I would do it Monday through Friday, right? But Saturday is the days you can sleep in. And it always made that Monday through Friday, it didn't even matter. Obviously Monday was hard, but it's still just as hard on Friday. 520 is like this now to me because I do it every solitary day. I don't miss a day. And that is something that I'm learning in life, is that you can't think weekend. You can't think this day or that day. Every single day, you have got to do what's required. And that's why you can't put so much on yourself, because when you put this, you're like, oh, I got to change my life. So, Michael, what should I do? And people see what I do and they try to replicate it and they can't do it. Not because I'm someone special. I've just been doing it longer. It's just as simple as that. You've got to start day one. You can't feed a baby steak. You feed it milk, right? You know what I mean? It works its way up. So that's the thing with, this week. And for instance, this morning, it's Saturday morning. It is Saturday morning. Right now I'd be in bed. I'd wake up here in about hour and a half, 2 hours. I never, I was raised like waking up like 7, 8 o'clock every single morning. Like, my body doesn't, like, if I sleeping in till 10 o'clock is like a rarity for me. And even when I was just, a piece of shit and just not a high value man, it would still get to me. But I used to wake up here in about an hour and a half with a hangover. I wake up with a hangover, just like get up, go spark up a blunt, stand out in that porch, out in that patio, look at the beautiful view, smoke my blunt, wait a couple hours, around 3 or 4 o'clock today, if it wasn't raining. I'd go darty and, go a day party, just start drinking again, And I'm realizing that with doing the cardio, waking up, whatever it is, when you develop this mindset, it is difficult to balance these things, because balance is a word. Is that focused, bro? I feel like this thing's unfocused. Let me see here. Is that focused? Okay. And dude, I swear to you, this doesn't look focused. Y'all getting to see the behind the scenes right now. Okay, here we go. But anyway, so balance is an evil word in this lifestyle. It really is. I don't give a shit. I'm just gonna go for it, bro. This camera's just like messing with me. But let me get to my point, bro. My fault, guys. My fault. My brain's so full of thoughts right now. it is a problem that I have to deal with consistently when I'm trying to constantly like figure out like, oh, well, it's Saturday. I've did cardio every single morning this week. I could spend time meal prepping the groceries that I got yesterday. And I'm about to go to my grandparents' house. I go to my grandparents for breakfast every Saturday morning. And it's like, dude, like the stress that I'm going to have if I didn't do that cardio would have killed me. It would have killed me. Like it really would have. And it would have been something that was on my conscience all day long. And so that's something that I'm having to just not think about it. Just do it. Like, just, okay, bro. Okay, that's what you got to do. So stop sitting here trying to worry about how you can move around it, because that's what we do. That's what you do mentally. You know what you have to do. And what you'll do is you'll just try to go around every corner and beat around every bush and figuring out how you don't have to do it or not have to do it to the degree you know you have to. And that's it's a loser mentality. It's a loser mentality. It simply is, because the go-getters, the guys that actually want it, those are the motherfuckers that actually get up and get shit done. They have X, Y, and Z to get done for the day, and they simply get it done. It's simple as that. There's no if, there's no ands, there's no buts. They get it done because it is what is required. And they know that if they don't get it done and they don't show up every day, you're not going to get the results that you want. For me, and keeping myself accountable, you have to realize that you are not normal, right? You are not a normal person. So stop comparing yourself to the normal people, right? My standards for myself are so high and they're so everly increasing that when I am doing the work, when I'm doing the thing, when I'm up at 520, when I'm doing the push-ups, when I'm doing this right now, taking internal and making it external, when I'm doing my cardio, whatever it may be, I'm like, hey, I'm doing what no one else is willing to do. And subconsciously, because this is your enemy, this flesh is your enemy. I was reading Matthew 26, I was reading this morning, or 27, and he takes a couple disciples out to the Garden of Gethsemane, and he knows he's about to get taken by the Romans. He knows Judas has betrayed him, and he starts to weep, and this is where he cries, he cries blood and everything, and he comes back to check on the disciples, and they're asleep. And he's like, can you not just stay awake like that? But he says the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And it's the same thing here. The spirit is always willing to get up and do the things that you need to do. Manifestation, like, it's all in the mind, spirit, everything. The flesh is what's weak. And so what I'm having to realize is that, hey, I am not like everyone else. So when I'm doing the things that I'm doing, when I'm being more productive and I'm getting more shit done every single day that most people don't, it is a difficult thing to process when you take a break, get on your phone, or you're just not being productive. It's so... It's just so unaliving, bro. It's so difficult for me to process. It really is. Like, even right now, I'm just being completely honest. Like, my brain is just so, like, I have so much I want to give y'all. I have so much I want to display. And I'm doing my best to just talk about my problems, talk about how I handle them, talk about my struggles, and hopefully, and literally the whole purpose of this is so that you can relate with them, and I'm talking about stuff that's just real, that actually happens, and inspire you to realize that, hey, stop thinking that you deserve to chill out. Because that's what everyone else does. And remember, you're not normal. You're not like everyone else, bro. You're not. You're just simply not. You're not like everyone else. And that's the lesson. That's it right there. And I know I've repeated myself a lot. But that's the lesson. Is that's what I've had to tell myself. Is that you gotta stop necessarily being so hard on yourself. This is very contradicting to what I'm saying, but just listen. You gotta stop being so hard on yourself of what do I gotta do? I gotta do more. I gotta do more. Keep doing what you're doing. And that's what I'm literally talking to me right now. Keep doing what you're doing. Because little do you know, you might not think you're doing enough. You might not think that what you're doing is actually working, is actually benefiting you, is actually benefiting others. But it is. You know you're that motherfucker, and you know you've got it. But what you do is you let your standard be so high. Sometimes you let that standard kill you so much because you're constantly trying to add and do more and do more. And while you want to keep doing that, sometimes you just have to sit back and just focus on what's working now. Focus on what you're doing now. Sometimes people get these new ideas and they take 80% of their time and invest into that, and then now they've only got 20% into what they were already doing. Stay consistent. Keep doing what you're doing. And if you have new ideas, implement them. But 10, 15%. Leave the 75, leave the 85 of what you're doing and what's already working, what's staying consistent. I am beating myself every single day. What do I got to do? How can I provide more? How can I help these people more? How can I show X, Y, and Z? How can I do this better? Because it gets to me when I genuinely want to help y'all guys so bad. I want to give you value so bad that I am sitting there worrying about every little freaking aspect of everything that I'm doing, that it is beating me down more than it's building me up. And sometimes I got to realize that these videos and my stories on my Instagram and all these things are doing more than I realize, just because people are reaching out to me. Because that's the thing for me is I want people to reach out to me. I want people to come to me and ask me questions and to say, hey, Michael, I'm having this problem right now. I'm struggling with this right now. What did you do? Or what would you do in this situation? How would you get yourself out of this? Because then I'm like, oh my God, what I'm doing is actually working. But sometimes I relate people coming to me as being the only thing that's helping. But I got to realize that this is what's helping people. Me talking about real shit, me talking about real life problems that no one else is willing to talk about. That's what's helping people. And so this is what I got to focus on. I got to focus on what's working. I got to focus on what's actually changing lives, what's actually helping people. But this is perfect timing because my camera's only got 40 seconds left that it's going to be recording. I have to take a massive dump from the coffee and from the cardio. And then I'm also just out of thoughts. But I knew I had thoughts. They weren't displayed as greatly as I would have liked them to be completely honest. But who am I to say what's valuable? Who am I to say what's going to speak to y'all? So, in my mind, I'm like, dude, I can't post this. I really do. I hope y'all got something out of this. I hope that you can understand my vulnerability. You can understand my problems and relate them to you. And hopefully take the mentality of hey, Get up, motherfucker, and do it. Stop trying to beat around the bush. Stop trying to find every excuse for yourself to not do it, because you know at the end of the day, the only person that's going to save you is you. The only person that's going to change your life is you. You want to retire your parents? No one's going to do that for you. So when it comes to those hard times, when it comes to those hard days, when it comes to that time where you're sitting there and you're just like, dude, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I know you don't, bro. But you have people count on you. You got a family. You have a future family. You get the family, people to provide for, bro. And if that isn't enough to cut that emotion off and say, get to fucking work and let's get this done, then I can't help you. Well, you definitely haven't made it to this. You definitely haven't watched this part of the video. You just haven't. But I love y'all guys. And I appreciate every single one of you guys that watch these. Every single one of you guys that watch these. God, I just feel like I have so many more thoughts, man, but I really do gotta go. Again, I love y'all. Instagram is in the comments or bio, however, whatever description, whatever it's called. Stay different, guys. Stay different. I love y'all. As you can see, I'm out of it, dude. Like I'm just out of it. And I always hate. I don't always hate ending these, but what I mean is that, like, if I've ran out of thoughts, it's easy for me to end it. But it's just like, dude, I just feel like I have so much more to say, but I do gotta go. I got things to do. I love y'all. I might make another one today, who knows, and post it like a couple days from now or something like that. But y'all stay tuned. I love y'all. God bless.